What's up everyone? You may have seen this pistol in a couple of trigger work videos that I posted recently. This Kimber 1911 is very near and dear to me. I'll tell you what little I know about these old Kimbers, my history with the gun, and go over how I have it set up and some work I just did. Let's get into it. This is a Kimber Classic Custom from 1998. It's a good old government length 45 ACP single stack 1911. I don't know how this ranked in terms of other Kimber models available at the time, but I suspect it was on the cheaper end, more like a base model. Don't know what this would have cost new in 1998 or how that compared to the price of other 1911s on the market at the time. This has standard 70 series internals. It's not one of the series 2 models with the Schwartz safety.
May the Schwartz be with you!
That was a firing pin block system that was actuated by the grip safety. I've seen some forum posts saying that these have been made or assembled in New York despite being marked Clackamas, Oregon. Like Kimber HQ was still in Oregon at the time, but all the pistols were made or assembled in New York. I'm not sure. If you have more information on these old Kimbers, please share in the comments because I'm pretty curious. I bought this gun secondhand when I was 21 or 22. It's the third gun I ever bought and the second pistol. I've had it for 10 or 11 years now. This pistol was barely used when I bought it, and I haven't put many rounds through it since then, maybe 1,000 to 1,500. I started learning how to tinker on 1911s with this gun. This is the gun that made me fall in love with the 1911 platform. I know Kimber has a spotty reputation for quality, and it sounds like unfortunately they've come by it honestly, but this gun has been really solid and reliable for me. The materials, machining, fit, and finish are all decent. It does have some scratches and wear on it, including the idiot scratch, which I have done my best to refinish and hide my shame. I did this shortly after I bought it and it almost made me fucking cry. It has a surprisingly tight slide to frame fit. All the controls and internals are MIM, metal injection molded, but they seem to have been molded and heat treated properly. They've all held up well. The ignition components cleaned up nicely. I'll replace them with billet if something breaks. I've had a lot of different parts on this gun over the years as I learned to tinker on the platform. How I have it configured now is how it's likely to stay moving forward. When I bought it, to my knowledge, it was completely stock, except the previous owner had some Pachmayr grips on it. Pretty looking and classic, but not grippy enough for my liking, so I sold them to a friend. My pistols with grip panels pretty much always get G10. I generally don't like finger grooves on pistols. Single stack 1911s are one exception. With the Pierce finger groove insert under the grip panels, it fits my hands perfectly. I replaced the factory front sight with a fiber optic one. This is the factory blacked out rear sight. I fit a new barrel bushing to this years ago. With my lack of experience at the time, I did a surprisingly nice job. The factory one is metal injection molded, and it was a little bit on the looser side. Barrel lockup is really tight on this thing. It's a really accurate pistol. This has a full length guide rod. I cannot remember if I installed this or not. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I, still have all the factory parts for this gun and the original case that it came in that I've kept over the years. If I replaced the spring plug and the guide rod, I would probably have the originals somewhere, but I don't. Not sure if this is how the gun came from the factory or the previous owner put this in. I would have put one in anyways if it didn't have one. Every time I work on a 1911, I get a little bit better. I fine-tune my process and techniques. This had a pretty mediocre trigger job in it I did maybe 6 years ago, so I wanted to redo that. This is the factory trigger. It's nice. It has a pre-travel and over-travel adjustment, but it has a polymer shoe. I like the feel of an aluminum shoe in a steel frame, so I bought this aluminum trigger from Fusion Firearms that is the same color and design. They call it a K-hole design. Not sure why they would name it after the state you find yourself in when you take too much ketamine, but whatever, man. I installed the new trigger, did a full trigger job, set it to 3.75 pounds. It's much better than it was. Maybe I'll redo it again in another 5 years when I'm even better at 1911 trigger jobs. I also did a full tune-up and polish job. I adjusted the release point of the grip safety, tuned the extractor and thumb safety, and replaced all the springs. There's a 19-pound mainspring that I installed in addition to the trigger job, standard 16-pound recoil spring, and a Wolf Extra Power firing pin spring. This isn't a super fancy high-end 1911, but it's a nice, solid pistol that runs good. It's been reliable and holds a lot of sentimental value for me. Let me know your thoughts. What guns of yours are the most important to you and why? Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.